yeah, we need them. Every day I prove it to myself over and over. I need strategies. Strategies for living. So are you ready? You ready for your daily dose of radio rehab?
I am ready.
Yeah,
I'm ready to rock and roll.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Hey, folks, welcome. Hope you're ready to rock and roll and whatever else we get into
Who knows
today
with us?
here on Strategies for a Living. Welcome into 101.7 FM, 710 Keel, and this is our little corner called Strategies for a Living, all about helping us live healthier, happier, and more peaceful lives in our bodies, minds, spirits, and relationships. I'm Dr. David McMillan, and she is psychotherapist Lauren Leon McMillan, PLPC, with high expectations. Yeah,
I suppose.
Well, I mean, you know, do you go into most days, maybe particular situations with high expectations?
You know, I have tried to completely reorient myself to the idea of expectations over the years, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, just based on the premise that, you know, just based on the idea of the word itself, expectations, right?
Okay.
So it means X means out, right? And spect means look. So if I'm always looking out, I'm never going to find the treasure, which is truly
inside.
in.
Oh, okay. Well, would you agree with me though?
I took off on another level. Sorry about that.
There she went. Would you agree with me, however, that one of the biggest and maybe most draining disappointments in a lot of people's daily lives are often the result of, let's call them, misplaced expectations?
Yeah, I've even heard the idea that an expectation is a resentment in the making.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, and I kind of like that idea. It makes sense.
Yeah, and I think this thing is especially true when it comes to our interactions and our relationships with others. This is not about lowering standards, but it is this evening about remembering some things. Turns out there are some daily expectations that are likely responsible for draining maybe 80 to 90% of our inner peace and our joy.
Okay.
And if we could identify those, well, that would help us not drain so much of that inner peace and joy. That would be a good thing.
I am all about plugging those leaks as energy leaks because we all have them. It's just about being able to recognize them.
Yeah.
And reorient yourself so that they're not always leaking.
Well, we're going to share. I like Mark and Angel Hack Life.
Ah, yes.
And they are the ones that came up with these. Mark Chernoff and Angel have come up with these 7 daily expectations that are often draining. So we're going to share them today here on Strategies for a Living. Talk about them and pull them apart and do what we do. Strategize, if you will. Because we are Strategies for a Living, of course. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you being here with us, and we appreciate our sponsors making it possible. The Robinson Film Center, Azalea Cleaners, Learning RX, Pintail Roofing, and the Balanced Life Wellness Center. Back in a moment. What are the drains for your joy and inner peace? Talking about that today here on Strategies.
Hi, this is Jay Merle for Pintail Roofing. Let's talk about quality. When you hire Pintail to build your roof, here's what you can expect. Quality and quality control are the most important concerns for us at Pintail, and you need to know that Pintail stands tall with swift and professional performance on any warranty call. This is our most important policy. And remember, we're your neighbors. We'll be here for you for the long haul. Our family's lived here for over 100 years, and we aren't going anywhere. On the commercial side of Pintail's business, our fluid-applied roofing solutions can save thousands of dollars over conventional commercial roofing options. Call Pintail at 226-ROOF for a free inspection of your home or commercial building. That's 226-7663. Pintail Roofing. What's the condition of your roof?
And And welcome in to 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Welcome into Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan. We would probably all do well to remember the words of Bruce Lee. I'm not in this world to live up to your expectations, and you're not in this world to live up to mine. Which is kind of where you were going.
Yes. Yeah.
And you and Bruce Lee are there, but I don't know how many of the rest of us are there.
It's a daily practice. It's a moment-to-moment practice.
Yeah.
Of reminding yourself.
I mean, I think we've all had the occasion where you just, it's like somebody pull the plug. It's like somebody pull the drain. And it's like the joy runs out. The inner peace runs out. And it can happen in a nanosecond, it seems, right? And maybe, according to Mark and Angel Chernoff, who have a wonderful blog. If you haven't checked it out, I encourage you to do that. Mark and Angel Hack Life is the name of their blog. And I don't know if they publish daily, but they publish often, and they really hit on some good stuff.
Yeah, they do.
Really
We've
do.
used their stuff a few times.
Yeah, and it's good stuff, so I would highly recommend that you go there. And they've written several books, including Getting Back to Happy, and you can find on their blog and website and all that good stuff. You can find out about all the books, and I think you can subscribe for free to their blog, and I think they podcast and all of that good stuff. So,
good people.
Yeah,
to check out.
good folks to check out.
Yeah.
But they're right on target with a lot of things, including what we're talking about today, because it's like all of a sudden, it's like everything changes, and it changes in our interactions in relationships. And I think they're right. It's about the expectations, right?
Yeah.
So you can't change what you're not aware of.
Right.
So if we can become more aware of those items, those daily expectations, if you will, that really pull the plug, that really drain us, then
I think
we can do something
so
about
much of our anger can be traced back to expectations. Because oftentimes with clients, I'll use the SEEN method for anger, which is SEEN, right?
All
so
right.
if you're angry, rather, we want to check. S is, what am I scared of?
Okay.
E, what am I expecting?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another E is, what am I embarrassed about?
Okay.
And E, what do I need? Are you hungry? Are you lonely? Do you have a need on board?
Yeah.
And most often, we can find the source of the anger in one of those four questions.
Okay.
Anger just needs to be seen.
Yeah. I like that, the SEEN method.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, some of the prime expectations that Mark and Angel say get us. Number one, and I don't know if these are in any particular order, but I think they may be. Number one is stop expecting everyone to agree with you. Maybe these shift over time. I don't know, but I think that for the world we live in today, I think this is a massive
This is very
one.
important. Yeah, asterisk.
So, we go about, and we live our lives, we live our world.
It's wild. There's somewhere around, we can agree, like average 7.8 billion people on the planet,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, give or take a
Give or
couple.
take. And so there's 7.8 billion different perspectives of the world
Yeah.
that we live in. Just human.
Yeah.
This is not including the perspectives of the animals and the plants and all that.
Yeah.
Just 7.8 billion human perspectives, right?
That's a lot.
And so that's important to consider in this idea idea that that's kind of our gift that we bring to the world, is our unique individual perspective of the world.
Right.
And so, of course, not everyone is going to agree with you, because they're not a single person on earth sees the world in the exact same way you do.
And we forget how
Yeah.
much we can learn by opening up to the perspectives
Right.
of others. Suppose when you went to kindergarten or first grade, you crossed your little arms and said, I don't need my teacher. I don't need this information. You and I are laughing because we're thinking about somebody.
we know somebody like that.
But suppose you did, and what would happen? And where along the way do we get the idea
That we're done.
that we're done?
Yeah.
Where do we get the idea? Because life, many people have supposed that one of the main purposes of this life is it's just like a giant school. Well, you got your graduation from kindergarten and from 8th grade and from high school and college and maybe graduate school or whatever. But where did you get your, where's your diploma hanging up? You're finished with life,
Yeah, at the Earth School.
And, here's the deal. We all deserve to find joy, peace, and happiness in our own way. And we deserve to live a life that we feel like we can flow with, right?
Right.
So why let the opinions of others make you forget that?
And the wild thing is it's not our job to understand how someone else is making sense of the world or what it means to them.
Yeah.
Our job is to understand what the world means to us.
Yeah.
And to make it make meaning, to give it meaning for ourselves.
Right.
And that's it.
Right. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, and it's okay to be curious about what other people are
sure.
thinking.
Yeah. As you do, your world can only grow from there.
Yeah.
Because you're able to incorporate larger and larger perspectives.
I have some family members, as you know,
I think I know where this is
that
going.
I dearly love.
Yeah.
But they
can't talk to each other.
I can't. Yeah. They it's like, and I don't want to talk to either one of them because they are so adamant. They are on two ends of the spectrum right now in terms of politically.
Yeah.
And they both want to talk to me about it, and I won't tell them where I am because there's no reason, because their minds are absolutely packed.
Full.
And
theirs is the right way, and this is it.
And they expect me, each one of them expects me to agree with them.
Right.
Now, I my sense is that this is happening in a lot of families,
especially right now. Yeah.
And a lot of organizations, whether those be workplaces, churches,
schools.
Yeah. And it's like, so we have this underlying deal that I think comes out of our ego mind that says, I expect everybody to, I've come up with what I think. I expect everybody to agree with me.
And this can be sneaky, right? Because it can even just be little preferences like, well, I clearly like my sandwich cut this way, so why don't you?
Yeah,
right?
Right.
And it's funny how it sneaks in that way.
Yeah.
And it's just an idea of there's so many different ways to do that.
Before we started, came on the radio, we were talking about a couple of years ago. We went on a trip, and a good friend of yours, a beautiful, wonderful friend of yours that both of us love.
Yes.
She made
She's
the
a
peanut butter sandwiches.
Dear lifelong.
And we got. I was, we were on the river and we were rowing, and I couldn't wait to get those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, man.
Right.
I was just really looking so forward to them. I have never in my life seen a skimpier peanut butter jelly sandwich. Now, I like my peanut butter sandwiches packed
you
full
like
of
a
peanut
you
butter.
like a manly
I
sandwich.
like a manly sandwich, and I want that peanut butter. I want, I want, and I want plenty of jelly, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's almost like the jar, kind of waved over the bread, but it just whatever little piece of peanut butter fell is what got spread on the sandwich. It was the most pitiful thing I've ever seen in my life.
And you were still grateful.
I was still grateful because it was a sandwich.
Yeah.
The bread was good, and the little bit of peanut butter was there. But okay, that's an illustration of what I'm talking about.
Right.
I had one expectation.
Right. Good point. Yes.
Your lovely friend that we do both love and
Yes.
adore has another way to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Right.
She's not wrong.
No.
Nor am I.
Right.
But the deal is,
You had an expectation.
that she nor I are in this world to live up to the expectations of others.
That's right.
And we shouldn't feel that others are here to live up, to ours. In fact, the more you approve of your decisions in life, the less constant approval you're going to need from the outside.
That,
right?
my friend, is the key.
But you have to dare.
Yep.
Every single one of us has to dare to be ourselves and to trust our own insights,
Yep.
our own intuition before and if we don't do that, if we don't trust that, then we may get frightened that will prove to be quote unquote wrong.
Right,
will be
because-
proven wrong.
Because you've abandoned yourself to some outside checklist of what it's supposed to look like.
Right.
And it reminds me of a wonderful Jung quote, right? That the privilege of a lifetime is to become yourself.
Absolutely.
And it truly is.
So success is ultimately about spending our lives in our own way. We get to create. We're creators.
Right.
So we get to create our own lives. So number one drain to look out for: stop expecting everyone to agree with you. Some will.
Sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
You'll find your pack along the way, but they're not going to agree with everything.
But
that
a
you
lot
do.
of people
Or like.
won't. A lot of people won't. We're talking today here on Strategies about what are the daily expectations that often drain about 90% of our joy and our inner peace. If we could plug those holes, we'll have more of that joy and inner peace. And isn't that what we all want? We're exploring that today here on Strategies for Living. Come back with us. More to come. Hey, let's talk about the Robinson Film Center. I say it a lot. There's no place like the Robinson.
Absolutely, there is not.
617 Texas Street, downtown Shreveport. You've got so much. You got the movies. You got Abby Singer's Bistro on the second floor of RFC, open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Saturday.
Newly remodeled.
Absolutely. Great menu. RobinsonFilmCenter.org is the way you check it all out. You can go to RobinsonFilmCenter.org at any time and find out what movies are showing. Here's the deal. You want to join the crowd, join the fun, become a member. When you become a member, you become a star. You get discounts on movies, you get concession upgrades, you get bistro deals. RFC, 617 Texas Street in downtown Shreveport. I'll say it again. There's no place like the Robinson.
There is not, and I'm glad we have one right here.
Absolutely. The RobinsonFilmCenter.org.
Reading begins not in the classroom, but in your child's brain. I'm Donisa Walker with Learning RX Shreveport. If your child struggles to read, maybe he or she has trouble focusing or comprehending, Learning RX Shreveport offers a science solution to reading problems, working one-on-one with your child, targeting his or her reading skills. Today, call Learning RX Shreveport. Make an appointment to have your child assessed. I know you want to help your child, so does Learning RX Shreveport.
Well, welcome back. Welcome back into Strategies for Living, where we do healthy, We do peace. We are questing for all of us for a better life. And that's why we're here. Right here on Strategies for Living. Here on 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Welcome back. Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan, talking today about expectations that often drain maybe up to 90% of your joy and inner peace. We've talked about stop expecting everybody to agree with you. Just not going to happen. Here's another one.
Okay.
Stop expecting people to show you more respect than the amount of respect you typically show yourself.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
That's a hard lesson to learn, but it's so true.
It is a very hard lesson to learn, and it's one that, many of us, I think, spend a lot of years learning and, trying to figure out. But here's the deal.
You're your greatest advocate. You're your greatest ally. You're your greatest friend.
Yes.
And, the more often that you can practice that in order to remind yourself of its truth.
Remind yourself.
Right.
Listen to that. I mean, I'll write it up here on the radio so we can all see it. Remind.
Yeah.
Mind again.
Yeah.
Repack. Put more in, put additional information into the mind.
Get a new mind, every time.
True strength in the spirit, true strength in the soul. Mm-hmm. It's not in the muscles, it's in the soul.
Yeah.
That's where the true strength is. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with working out your muscles. Mm-hmm. I mean, we want to do that to stay healthy physically. But that's temporary because the body's temporary. And I want to keep it I want to keep it healthy as long as I can.
I want to respect this body that's on loan from Earth
right.
as long as possible.
As long as possible. And it's for me to take care of it. But true strength is the spirit and the soul. It's about having faith and trust in who you are and the willingness to act upon it with consistency. Right?
Right. And again, this really harkens back, just like the first, it really harkens back to you have to know yourself and listen to your own needs in order to respect them, right?
Here's the deal. You can at any moment, that remind thing, you can change your mind. Mm-hmm. And that's the beauty of the creative beings that we are, the power of the creative beings we are. You can decide this very minute to never again beg anybody for love, for respect, for attention that you need to be showing to yourself daily.
Right, and that's already, it's outpouring within you if you go inwards and you encounter it and begin to embody it.
At the risk of sounding like Stuart Smalley, do you even know who Stuart Smalley is? I'm good, and I know she doesn't, folks. But there are many of us that are old enough to remember the Stuart Smalley character on Saturday Night Live. I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me. Stuart Smalley looking into the mirror, and at the risk of sounding like Stuart Smalley, look at yourself in the mirror today or in the morning and say, I respect you, and from now on, I'm going to act like it.
Mirror work is some of the most powerful and transformative work that we can do.
It is. It feels weird, though.
It does.
It feels weird at first.
Yeah, and I encourage people often have problems with going immediately and saying things like, I will respect you, right?
Yeah.
So, I sometimes will say, okay, well, you want it to be true for you.
Right.
But you also want it to be growth. You want it to be on that edge of, okay, what's true for me now, but what's also do I want to lean into more of my truth?
Right.
And so to alter that statement, I might say to yourself, you deserve self-respect.
I like that.
Just that additional of you deserve, because I think most of us can acknowledge, okay, you deserve respect. And, you know, and if you're not there yet, you know, back it up more. Back it up to a point where
Absolutely.
it can be true for you now and a little bit on the edge of what you want it to be more true.
Right. And, you know, of course it's important to be nice to other people, right? Mm-hmm. That's very important. Be nice and kind to other people. But I'm going to make the case that it's even more important to be nice and kind to ourselves.
Yeah.
And so when you practice, when each of us practices self-respect, you give yourself the opportunity to grow. That, you know, you're actually, it's like watering a plant. If you don't water a plant, it may stay alive, but it can't grow and thrive.
It kind of makes me think of you're more reconnecting with the truth underneath it all, because I kind of like to think of it at the idea that we're all truly self-respectable. We all truly are in love with ourselves, and any form of self-judgment that we have has actually come from outside of us to begin with.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's about acknowledging that, realizing where did that come from, and what do I truly believe?
Yeah, right.
What's underneath that?
And you know what, we're here obviously, and you just got to back up and look at this. We're obviously here to grow.
Right.
We grow from the time that we're conceived.
We never stop growing.
Until death. I mean, that's one of the things that is a constant is growth and change. And when we're growing, you know, and when we do grow, you become a better friend. You become a better wife or husband or family member because you become a better you. And so, you know, we all probably need, at the risk of sounding a little Stuart Smalley-ish,
Yeah.
you know, we all probably need to do that mirror work. You know.
Well, and it doesn't, I mean, I definitely like and encourage the power of actual mirror work, but you can do that with yourself in other ways. You know, one way that I meet myself is through writing.
Yeah.
You can meet yourself through writing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's another way if you don't want to meet yourself in the mirror.
You
Although
know,
I greatly encourage it.
Well, yeah, and I think it's powerful to look into your own eyes, but I also think it's powerful that, you know, you're saying you do it through writing. You're looking into your own heart.
Yeah.
And I think that's, you know, that's equally as important. It's not one better than the other.
Right, yeah, they're definitely
it's not either or, it's
complementary.
both and.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 3, stop expecting and wanting everybody to like you.
Oh, hello.
You know, I had my supervisor way back years ago, as I was becoming a counselor.
Right.
He would say, and he had a say, and he said, and you know, and I kind of did my own informal survey on this, and I'm convinced that he was right.
Yeah.
He said, it doesn't matter what you do or you don't do. A third of the people are going to like you no matter what. And he said, it doesn't matter what you do or you don't do. A third of the people aren't going to like you no matter what.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what you do or you don't do. A third of the people
Don't care.
aren't going to care.
Yeah.
So of the people you encounter, if you're expecting and wanting everybody to like you, I mean, do the math. 2 out of 3, right?
Right.
1/3 aren't going to like you. 1/3 aren't going to care. 2 divided by 3, that's 67%. That might account for, you know, why sometimes we don't feel so good.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, if we're hanging our hat on that, and over half the people aren't going to care or aren't going to like us anyway.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. You know, you might indeed feel unwanted and unworthy to one person out there.
Sure.
But I can promise you that you're priceless to somebody else. So
First and foremost, you're priceless to
priceless
yourself.
to yourself. So that's, you know, that underscores, don't ever forget your worth. No matter, you know, how good you are to people, there will always be somebody out there that's a negative Nelly or a negative Ned, and you'll get criticized. I mean, it comes with the territory. Smile. Try to just say, this is more about them than it is about me, and carry on. Spend the time with the people who value you the most instead, and vice versa, right?
Right, yeah. First and foremost, you owe it to yourself. And I mean, it kind of makes me think of, at the end of the day, no matter what, I'm always going to come home to me.
Yeah.
And I mean, hopefully
and you're getting in bed with you at the end of the night. Yeah.
Right. I mean, hopefully for a long time I'm doing that with you too, but I'm always guaranteed to come home to and get in bed with me.
That's right. That's exactly right. Because other relationships, all of our relationships, even our most precious ones, all relationships end by death or divorce.
Right.
And, that's just a reality of this world and this life
and
that we
you're
live.
With you through it all. And I will tell you what is kind of, in my own experience and practice, what I've noticed, the more loving, the more kind I am to myself, the more beauty I'm able to see in other people.
Yeah. Truth be told, in our over-connected world, and in this over-connected world, I think we get hung up on trying to
get the likes and the comments,
make everybody else like us. Yeah.
Right.
And the toughest battle that we'll have to fight on the average day is, guess what? The battle to be who we are, the battle to be ourselves. And
it doesn't have to be.
And it doesn't know. And it's okay. It's okay to be different.
I know this is wild, but this is truly the freest time, I think, I can say this, the freest time in history that we have, that we can't truly all be ourselves without too much concern.
The things that make us different are the things that make you you. And the right people are going to love you for those things that make you you.
Right.
That's a given.
That's the true magnetism.
Absolutely. We're talking about the expectations that can literally drain 80 to 90% of our joy and inner peace. Talking about it today here on Strategies for Living. We've got more. Stay with us for Strategies for Living to come. Dealing with stress, pain, feel like you're running out of options? When your life is balanced, wellness is a given. True wellness is holistic. It's about the mind, the body, and the spirit, all in balance. Now, there's a place right here in Shreveport that's all about helping us achieve peak mental, emotional, and physical health. The Balanced Life, 117 Kings Highway, right next door to Strawn's. Come see and feel the difference getting your life in balance can be. Many of your friends and neighbors have already learned the difference less stress and pain mean in their lives. You can book a discovery session right now online, thebalancedlife.us. All you've got to lose is stress, pain, or maybe both. Come see and feel for yourself the real difference balanced wellness makes. The Balanced Life Wellness Center, 117 Kings Highway in Shreveport, next door to Strawn's, thebalancedlife.us. And welcome back into Strategies for Living. We take growth serious. Yeah, we take growth serious here on Strategies for, or is that seriously?
It's seriously.
Oh, well, I'm serious about that.
Seriously?
Seriously. Hey, folks, welcome back. Welcome back into 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Welcome back into Strategies for a Living. Yeah, Lauren's mom's an English teacher. You can tell. I get corrected often there, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm.
If you take growth seriously,
I take it seriously. There you go.
That's par for the course.
Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan, talking about today expectations that drain a lot of our peace, our inner peace and joy. Expecting everybody to agree with us. expecting people to show you more respect than the amount of respect that you typically show yourself, and expecting everybody to like you. Here's another one. Stop expecting people to perfectly match up with your idea of who they are. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, back to the 7.8 billion people, right? There's 7.8 billion perspectives.
That's a lot of people.
Right.
But, loving and respecting other people means allowing them to be who they are. You want that from them. And so you've got to give that too. When you stop expecting people to be a certain way, you open up a whole new area that you can appreciate them for who they truly are.
And the journey they're on, and then who they are becoming.
But you got to tune into that. You've got to pay close attention and respect people for their own uniqueness and not for who you want them and expect them to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of my, I don't know, you could call it a prayer affirmation that has come out of my writing is, and I often remind myself of it, is that I allow myself and others to be the fullest expression of who we are in each moment.
Yeah.
And what that does for me is it allows this release, because suddenly I realize I don't have control of other people, right? And I don't have to.
And you don't have to.
That's not in my control.
And that's a lot. That's a big relief.
It is.
We simply don't know most people half as well as we think we do, as we believe we do. And truly knowing somebody is a big part of what makes them wonderful. And so every human being is remarkable. Every human being is beautiful in some way.
And doesn't that leave a lot of room for intrigue and curiosity when you do realize how much we don't really know about each other?
There you go. So we just need to be patient and, set our sights, to be able to see that uniqueness as it comes out, as it unfolds.
Well, and it's always ever changing. I think we as humans, we like to put things in categories and with labels. And even as psychologists, we say, there are personality types, right? And the truth is we're really all a bunch of ever-changing collages of
those
people, places, and things we've encountered along the way.
Those personality, quote-unquote, types can be helpful to help us understand the big picture.
Yeah.
But, they don't...
The truth of it is that we're just these ever-changing kaleidoscopes of energy.
Right.
Yeah?
Yep.
And so each time, this is so important, I think, for people, especially if it's been some time since you've seen a person, just to remind yourself, okay, even the person you think you're meeting is the person you saw however long ago.
Right.
And to remind yourself, wow, think about how much you've changed in that time.
And even if that was just a day or two ago.
Right.
A lot of change can happen in a day or two.
And it's possible and acceptable and normal.
So here's another massive one.
Okay.
Stop expecting everybody to know what you're thinking.
Ooh, buddy.
People can't read minds. They will never know how you feel unless you choose to tell them. Your wife, your husband, your boss.
And I think
they don't know,
We have done such a number on this, haven't we?
Yeah, we have.
I think we've over-glamorized, over-romanticized this. And it couldn't be any further from the truth.
Yeah. In life, we have to communicate. That's the beauty of communication. We have to communicate with others regularly and effectively. And oftentimes, you have to You have to open your vocal cords and speak the first words.
Use your words.
You have to tell people what you're thinking if you want meaningful engagement in that relationship, right?
Yeah. And even to check something out, like if you see someone make a face or a gesture at you and it hits you in a strange way, I encourage people, check it out.
Yeah.
Hey, when you looked at me like that, the story I'm telling myself is that you're mad at me or that I did something wrong. Is that what you were trying to imply there, or am I misreading?
Yeah.
And that's
even,
all we can do.
Yeah, it's all we can do. And even before we do that, check it out within yourself first. Mm-hmm. Is there something going on inside of me?
Oh, yeah.
That makes me wonder. And let me take care of that first,
right?
Because that's
a good point.
That's internal.
That's where really all your power lies.
That's where the action is.
And then check it out so that you can continue to communicate effectively with each other.
We all have people in our lives that we look at and we say, "That's a strong person," but here's an expectation that we need to check. Stop expecting the seemingly strong people in your life to be perfectly okay. Everybody, every single one of us is fighting some kind of battle, like we all are.
Right.
Every smile or every sign of strength hides some kind of inner struggle, every bit as complex and extraordinary as ones that you're battling with and dealing with. So
it's a beautiful thing to be here on this earth with all of these people, and part of it is that we're not all in the same place at the same time.
Right.
And I don't mean physically, that too, but also mentally and emotionally. And so it's, the idea that when there are others who are down, there are those of us who are up.
Yeah.
And who can support those who are down.
Let me get one more in real quick.
Go.
Stop expecting the people you care most about to suddenly change. If there, we can see every single one of us has blind spots, and people who love us and care about us can see things about us that we can't see,
where that's
right?
Going. Yes.
And so if there's a specific behavior somebody you love and care about has that you're hoping disappears over time, it probably won't. If you really need them to change something, be honest with them. Put all your cards on the table so that the person has the information that they need. But still, again, change sometimes is the most difficult thing we do.
Right, and one of the most loving things we can do for each other is to hold the mirror. Say, hey, this is what I see.
Take a look at this. I don't know if I don't know if I'm seeing it accurately, but here's what I'm seeing.
Right.
Talking about expectations that can just absolutely suck out the joy and inner peace. So we need to check those expectations. That's what we're talking about today here on Strategies for Living. We'll be right back. You're going to see the difference. When you go to Azalea Cleaners, you'll hear about it too. Azalea Cleaners has been fine dry cleaning since 1958, plus laundry, alterations and repairs, comforters, wedding gown cleaning and restoration. You'll hear about it from your friends because they'll see it too. They'll notice the Azalea difference. Azalea is convenient. 732 Azalea Drive, 9220 Ellerby Road, and 9227 Mansfield Road. Plus, the front door of your home or business with Azalea's delivery on demand. Just text SETUP to 249-8283, and Azalea will pick up your clothes and deliver them back clean and fresh to you. You can't get closer than that. That's the Azalea difference. You'll notice it right away. Others will too. The Azalea difference. Fine dry cleaning since 1958. Text SETUP to 249-8283 and get the Azalea difference. AzaleaCleaners.com. And welcome back. Welcome back into 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. Warren Leon McMillan, David McMillan. talking about expectations that can drain 80-90% of our joy and our inner peace. What's your takeaway from today's program, Lauren?
Check your expectations at the door, perhaps.
Yeah, well, mine is to be more aware.
Yeah.
To be aware that the expectations are something that...
And I think maybe some of the keys to look for to that will tell you that you've had an expectation, maybe one is anger, one is frustration, disappointment.
Yeah.
All three of those, can you think of any other signs that might indicate you've had an expectation?
Hurt, anger, fear, those feelings that generally we say, I don't like those. I don't like those feelings.
So check in with yourself when that happens.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of pointing to last segment when I said, go within and check yourself before, saying something to somebody else. Not to withhold information, but just to check in. Again, the easiest place to change something is inside yourself.
Right. Yeah.
And
everything that is inside of you will pour out.
There you go. There you go. So again, Mark and Angel Hack Life is the blog where you can get all of these. There's 7 daily, the blog post is 7 daily expectations that often drain 90% of our joy and inner peace. Mark Chernoff is the author. Folks, thank you. Thank you for tuning in to Strategies for Living. We appreciate you being with us. And, my expectation is you'll come back tomorrow and tell your friends.
I have none.
Again and again and again.
But I appreciate it.
And we appreciate our sponsors making it all possible. The Robinson Film Center and Azalea Cleaners and Learning RX and Pintail Roofing and the Balanced Life Wellness Center. If today were the last day of your life, you only had one more phone call that you could make, who would you call? And what would you say? And why are you waiting? Make the call. For Lauren Leon McMillan, I'm David McMillan. See you next time, right here on Strategies for Living.